Hey guys, this is John. I'm just waiting for a game here. I started the video a little bit early. I wanted to say rest in peace to Grandmaster Yevgeny Vasukov. He died today at the age of 85. He's a Russian Grandmaster, six-time Moscow champion. He was a contemporary of many players you've heard of, the Soviet chess community, some of the best players in the world, Tal, Petrosian, Smyslov. He worked with Karpov as a second. Very well-known Blitz specialist. There's a really cool story of him playing against Bobby Fischer when Fischer was 15 years old and came to Russia. And they played at the Central Chess Club in Russia. And Vasukov was in fact brought in because Petrosian was having a tough time with Fischer. And, why am I bringing up Vasukov? Well, I consider him kind of a brother in arms, if you will, even though I'm not a grandmaster. I really appreciate people who reach the top of their craft, and that's a guy who did it. I appreciate his fighting spirit. He had a lot of very interesting games. And also, I was lucky to play him a couple years ago in 2015 on this channel. So I played a Blitz game on ICC against him. I'm not going to spoil the result, but I will link it below. So it would be cool if you guys checked it out. I think it was pretty entertaining. And I just wanted to pay my respects to a great player and, a fellow chess enthusiast. So rest in peace, Grandmaster Vasukov. Okay, so I am playing babadroga92, rated 2515. I'm going to castle here. I would like to aim against his castled king. So if he goes this way, I think he is playing this plan, bishop c2 and queen d3. Take aim against h7. And I think he sees that is coming. I mean, it's not a fatal operation for him if that happens. Let's play rook c1 here. That way if he takes, I don't have to damage my pawn structure. If I execute that plan, he could play g6, but that constitutes a weakness. I feel like if he plays g6 and h6, I might be getting something against his king side. This is a 5+0 game. 5 minute, no increment. Okay, and he does castle. I think I am going to do this now. And I had an OTB game at the Reykjavik Open in one of the later rounds, maybe like round 7 or something, that was extremely similar to this. I did not have the bishop pair, but I had this same exact plan that I think is kind of unpleasant for black. So let's go ahead and play this way. Probably g6, yeah. And now h4 would be a standard reaction. Can also try to play queen e3 or queen d2 and take aim against h6. But I think I'm going to start with h4 because this is a nice way to try to pry open the position or threaten to pry open the position with h5. I really want to get at him on this diagonal, which he has now closed by playing g6. So yeah, there he goes. He's trying to stop me. I think I'm going to do this. So thinking of sneaking in with the queen. If king g7, I might transfer this knight over. I may try to get that knight over to f4 or g3. So he plays rook fc8. If I move the queen in, he's going to play queen f8. I don't think I really gain anything from that. I don't want to trade queens because I'm attacking. So yeah, definitely thinking of just knight e2 here. Just seeing if there's some better way to play it. But I like this because now his bishop also might experience some problems. For instance, if he plays knight a5, trying to swap pieces, a3 already traps the bishop. He'd have to play knight c4. I'd get 2 minor pieces for the rook. So yeah, kind of a twofold idea. Transferring the knight over, but also thinking of maybe trying to play a3. Okay, he plays queen f8, so making room for bishop e7. So do I want this knight on f4 or g3? Also, do I even bother looking at stuff like g4? And I could try it right now. That's interesting. I don't know that it's the best right now. Probably not. But it is interesting. Could also play queen g5. Yeah, I'm going to go queen g5. And at bishop e7, I'm going to pivot the queen back here. And I'm trying to add more force to knight f4 so that it's looking at not only e6 and g6, but it also might threaten knight takes h5. And also, if I play knight g5, I have the option of taking with the queen on that square. Bishop d8. Okay. Kind of a mysterious move. Maybe he's trying to go knight e7, but this feels so natural now. It's too early to sack on g6, so let's just do this. Now he has to be extremely careful. Clearly this is a threat. I think he probably has to play queen h6 here if he wants any chance at survival. Okay, queen g7. I did not see that that was possible. That's also an option. Okay, Yeah, he's standing firm here. Looking at the sacks for sure. Also thinking of transferring some pieces. I'm going to go here, maybe with the idea of swinging the rook along the third rank. I don't want to trade, though. I'm going to go here. Not worried about knight f5. I can take it, and he's going to lose a pawn. So this looks kind of weird, but my thinking is he can't really do anything down the c-file. He could try to double up down the c-file and eventually play rook c1. That is what he might do. Can I somehow create threats in the meantime? Like knight here, maybe move my queen, go rook g3. I don't know. We'll see. So knight g5 would be consistent. Let's just play it. Time is going to become more of a factor here. And I still want to make knight takes h5 work, but I don't see how it's working yet. I get in a check on h7, but nothing else. I don't know if I want my queen here. It's kind of a liability. I'm going to move it. And if rook c1, maybe rook back here. It's not ideal, but yeah, let's see how that works out. $115 left. Okay. This rook has taken quite the adventure. Again, considering these sacks, they don't seem to work. All right, let's go here. I know he can take this now. If I get the chance, b3 looks nice. Forces rook over to b4, but it's unclear now. 43 seconds, no increment. Okay, let's back him off first of all. Still really want to play g4. But I got to time that move right. I don't know if I should turn down a draw here. Ooh, he's going to play. Okay. Interesting. Okay, now I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to hesitate at this point. Send the pieces over. Threaten rook h7. Just don't have much time here. Ooh, that's a big move to get in. Win the queen. All right, John, just don't blow this. I got the capture on e6 coming. And I've got mate. Whew, okay. I think that was a 3-position repetition when we were playing rook e3, rook e1, rook c3, rook c1, but I didn't want to draw. Hey, Grandmaster Vasukov, maybe you were watching out for me in that game because there were some similarities to the game that we played, so appreciate you, man. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I didn't get a chance to comment much on the opening. So I played this bishop g5 system, which honestly I don't think is as good for white against e6 as it is against g6, the Torre attack. But it is playable in this version too. I think it's just a little more toothless, let's say. It leads to interesting positions, however. I especially like this line because it's double-edged. When black plays h6, black has the bishop pair and a compact structure, but white has the center and attacking possibilities. And as I was saying, that OTB game that I played in Iceland was very, very similar to this. We wound up in a French-like position, and honestly, I kind of questioned the whole bishop b4 check plan if black is not going to take on c3. I think they should definitely, if they're going to pursue this plan, follow through, but then they don't have the bishop pair, even though the structure is weaker. In the long term, this structure is good for black, but I think the fact that the pawn is on h6 could hurt him, and maybe even just the whole convenience of this bishop c2, queen d3 rearrangement, creating this queen-bishop battery. Very good attacking operation to know when your opponent is castling short like that. So all this happened, bishop b1. Why am I playing bishop b1 rather than bishop c2? Well, I don't want to block my rook, which I just put on c1. So bishop b1 fits in really nicely with the rook already being on c1. Kind of tuck that piece away. I'm not blocking in the rook here. It's no longer on a1. I'm prepping queen d3. Pretty satisfied with all this. I think h4 also makes a ton of sense. So I remember also in that OTB game, I had a little bit of trouble. I had to think for a little while figuring out how best to prosecute the attack when black had weakened himself on the king side by pushing g and h pawns. It's not simple. I mean, ideally you'd like to blast it open with a g4 lever, but that's kind of awkward to arrange. I can't just go knight h2 because I would lose the pawn on h4. So I played queen e3. Maybe I should transfer the knight right away. Maybe knight e2. Just leave the queen here, because I ended up playing some redundant moves in this game. I did this whole queen e3, queen g5, queen g3 thing. And then with this rook too, I played it up to c3, then e3, then back to e1. It was toggling between e3 and e1 quite a bit. So yeah, I will fully admit that some of these moves were not the best by me. I think here too. Queen g5, in retrospect, it doesn't quite look right. Queen f8, I think, is a good move by him. I really like the look of that. It controls h6, so it preempts queen h6. It preps e7 as a retreat square, either for his knight or most probably his bishop. Yeah, queen g5. I'm somehow not satisfied with this move. Maybe now would be a good time to move this knight, because the queen is no longer attacking the h4 pawn, so maybe I can sneak this in. I really feel like once I enlist the help of my g-pawn, that creates way more problems for black compared to the game. The dream scenario would be something like, let's say this happens, and my knight is within striking distance of f6. I'd love to land that piece there. And then the combination of, this bishop still being an assassin on this diagonal, h5 to further lever open the position. I could see black collapsing pretty quick. So yeah, I think knight h2 looks like something I should strongly consider here. I invested a couple tempi to do this, but even though my pieces look pretty here, there wasn't a blow that I could land. Which makes sense. It makes sense that there isn't anything, because I'm basically attacking black's pawn chain. The h5 pawn, the e6 pawn a little bit, but mostly h5 and g6. But if a piece sacrifice or something along those lines doesn't work, then it makes sense that my attack is going to stall, because I'm not attacking with my pawns. Usually you're best off attacking your opponent's king with your pawns and then having the pieces in the support role ready to stream into the position once the pawns have done the dirty work and open the lines. And I haven't managed to do that here because I never got my pawn up to g4. Yeah, and this whole rook c3 thing might be kind of extravagant. I was actually kind of borrowing an idea from a line of the Moscow Sicilian, where white does this. rook c3, and then intentionally moves the rook away along the third rank to avoid a trade of the rooks. But yeah, I think it's extravagant here. Maybe again, I should try to prepare g4 post-haste. Play queen h3 and go here. It's not as good as that previous position I was showing with knight h2 and g4, but it's a start. So rook c3, knight e7, rook e3, rook c6. I think this is all logical by him. I like what he's doing. He's doubling up. Yeah, and I just kind of ran out of steam here. Knight g5 looks active, but doesn't do much. Just didn't ever see these sacrifices panning out. Black is too well reinforced. Yep, now he gets in. My rook ends up going to d1. I have to defend d4. He takes. Here I was looking to play b3 if given the chance, so I can see why he moved his knight. I think I'm still very much in the game here, but it never proceeded as smoothly as I would like. So let's count the positions here. So this is the first repetition of this position. It's the second. Yeah, so we had 3 times. So either of us could have claimed a draw at this point. Incidentally, for you tournament players out there, if you're looking to claim a draw when a position has been repeated 3 times, the procedure that you should follow is, first of all, you should verify in your score sheet whether the position actually has been repeated 3 times, so you know if you're making a valid claim or not. You write the move down on your score sheet, so it's your move. You can only ever claim something on your move. You write the move down on your score sheet that would make the position be repeated 3 times, okay? So it's been repeated 2, and then 2.5, and then you're about to write the third move, the third time repetition. You write it, but you don't play it. That's very important, because if you play the move, it transfers over to your opponent. Now it's the opponent's time, and they could make a move. Your claim is not going to be valid anymore. So you write the move, you don't play it. At that point, you can stop the clock. I usually just inform my opponent what I'm going to do. 90% of the time, they say, okay, they agree that it's a repetition. But if they don't, then you go get an arbiter, and the arbiter will verify and let you know if you actually did have the correct claim. But here, I guess neither of us was willing to click the draw button, which from his point of view, I can understand, because he had more than a minute here and I had under 30 seconds. But I felt like my position was going to be better if he avoided the draw. So he moved his rook back. Yeah, and now I crowd this bishop. And he has to play this very awkward move, bishop c4. I guess he could also play b5 here. That's another possibility, but that makes this bishop look a little isolated. Still, though, with 20-some seconds, I don't know if I could punish that. I mean, at this point, having, 24 seconds, I know that my chances are going to lie on the king side and just bashing through. It's high time. I finally played the pawn break. I was talking about the whole game, g4. So we can open lines and get at his king down the h-file. He could consider h4, but then his knight will never have access to f5. I'm controlling that, and I think I'll round up this pawn, probably maybe queen h1 even, so that if this, I can swing this rook over, and I'm going to win this pawn. I should be able to hold him off elsewhere. So, was not perfect by any means after this, but I was just trying to organize my resources. He bails with his king, but rook h7 is coming. Take. Queen h4, I don't know about. I just played that move instinctively to get my queen on the same diagonal as his king. Unlikely that this g5 pawn is going to disappear. Maybe queen h6 is also helpful, but immediately after I played that, I saw that this was probably a better idea because that targets d5 twice, and I still have this breakthrough move e6. You see how the pawn breaks are so important here? Because the position has been fairly closed the entire game. The pawn breaks, if I'm going to break through, are the most important thing. Yeah, and I guess here he should probably play something like king d8. I think that's what I would do. King d8, and then e6 is still kind of nasty. He can't take it. That would be a royal fork, but maybe in time pressure, his king could trickle away, and I might come up empty here. It should be a winning position, or very close to it for white, but I think that might be a better defensive try. He did this, played e6. Yep, and fortunately I was able to land that. And that's a big fork. Rook's pinned, he can't take it, so the queen drops. And I had enough in the tank here to get the victory. All right. So thank you guys for watching this game. I know I haven't posted a Blitz game for a little while, but I'm actually waiting for some food to cook. I got a slow cooker for my parents for Christmas, and I have not used it yet. It is May 10th. I'm finally using my slow cooker, Mom and Dad. So I've got some chicken cooking, and I need to go check on it, but I had a little time. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, rest in peace, Grandmaster Vasukov. Go check out that game, and there's also a very nice obituary on chess.com I'll link to. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.